Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. This is Building and Fire Board of Appeals October 19 meeting, and today we have a rather short agenda, and we may begin with roll call, please.
Sure. Board Member Lenoir?
Here.
Board Member Tatulian?
Here.
Board Member Chakmajian?
Here.
Board Member Lee?
Here.
Chairman Kishishian?
Here. Thank you.
Okay. On to item number 2. Report regarding posting of the agenda. The agenda for this meeting was posted on Tuesday, October 11, 2016 on the bulletin board outside City Hall and on the city's website. Going on to item 3. Today we have none. Going on to item 4, approval of minutes dated September 21st, 2016.
May I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of September 21st, 2016 meeting?
I'll motion to approve.
I second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Board Member Lenoir?
Yes.
Board Member Tatulian?
Yes.
Board Member Chakmajian?
Yes.
Board Member Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Kishishian?
Yes.
Great. On to item number 5, oral communications. Today we have none. Item number 6, old business. Today we have none. And going on to item number 7, which is new business, the final review of proposed local amendments to Title 24 CCR for the 2017 Glendale Building and Safety Code.
Okay, at this point, I would like to go through a short presentation on the 2017 Glendale Building and Safety Code. As a reminder for the commissioners and the staff that may be viewing online, the Building Standards Code comprises of 12 distinct parts. It establishes the minimum standards by which the building and building system shall be designed, constructed, and utilized to ensure public safety. And they contain general standards that are used and are applicable throughout the state without special consideration for local conditions. The code comprises of Title 24 CCNRs and is 12 separate parts. The parts are the administrative code, the building code, the residential code, the electric code, mechanical code, plumbing code, energy code, state historical code, fire code, existing building code, green building code, and the reference standards code. In order for the local community to have amendments, the state prescribes a specific process where we may amend the building standards based on local geographic, topographic, or climatic conditions. The amendments need to be more stringent than the state code in order to be applicable. And we must follow through once we adopt the code by submitting to the California Building Standards Commission. Once we have done all of that, then our local ordinances are enforceable. Local enforcement may not occur prior to January 1, 2017. In order for us to have the local ordinances be enforceable, we need to have our local adoption prior to that and submitted to the Building Standards Commission. The previous building code was adopted by Ordinance 5813, and we will have a new ordinance that will replace this. Glendale Building and Safety Code comprises of 10 volumes. Volume 1A is building standards. Volume 1B is the residential standards. A new volume this cycle is Volume 1C, the existing building standards. Volume 2 is the plumbing standards. Volume 3 is the mechanical standards. Volume 4 is the electrical standards. Volume 5, housing standards. 6 is fire safety standards. 7 is the security standards. 8 is the Commercial Industrial Property Maintenance Code, and Volume 9 is the Green Building Standards. What's new for 2017? Essentially, most of our local amendments are carryovers from previous codes from our previous code cycles. We've gone through the ICC LA Basin chapter to standardize many of our local amendments so that region-wide we're all enforcing the same regulations. Some of our previous amendments have been eliminated from this code cycle due to the fact that the base code, the California base code, has already incorporated those requirements. And we've added a small number of new amendments, primarily because of the new segment of the existing building code to address the administration of that to be consistent with the administration portion of the other codes. We've, since the previous meeting, we've made some minor changes to what we previously presented to you. It was basically four changes as a result of public input, including input from the board. The first change is in Volume 1A, Section 117, Refuge and Recycling Storage. That these sections were updated based on the presentation presented by Regina Wheeler at our last board meeting. Those changes have been incorporated in the code that is in front of you. Volume 1B, Section R401.4, the soils test. We've clarified the phrasing to make it clear that the exception only applies to single-story structure or a single-story addition as a result of the comments from the code. This makes it very clear for anybody reading it that when that exception is applicable. The third change that we made is in Volume 1C, Section 402.1 General and Section 403.1 General. We revised the 50% language of when the trigger is to be consistent with the language in Section 903.2.20.2 so that both when we have the trigger on the 50% for fire sprinklers, the trigger for this change, those triggers are worded the same and are applied the same and are calculated the same, so that we have consistency throughout the codes that we enforce. The last change is in Volume 9, Section 4.204.2, future access for solar systems. Based on comments from plumbing professionals, concern about having piping installed that may be connected to potable water systems in the future, we've eliminated that section so that we don't have that piping installed and potentially have somebody connect into it without all the proper tests and checks once it's connected into the potable water system. So we will wait on that until they're actually proposing to install a water solar heating. We have left intact our ordinance requiring the installation of conduit to allow for future electrical connections for future photovoltaic systems to be installed, since we're getting a large number of applications each month on existing structures. Future structures, when they're doing the construction, if they're the conduit is pre-installed, it will make the installation of the photovoltaic much easier, much quicker, much safer. Those are the four changes that we've made to the code since the last presentation. And like I said, those were based on public comments and board comments that we received. After this, the next step, assuming that you meet the recommendation and vote on the recommendation that City Council adopt these, we will be taking the ordinance to City Council. First hearing, the introduction is scheduled for November 1st, and the adoption is scheduled for November 15th, with the effective date of January 1, 2017. And then as a reminder, any plans submitted into Plan Check on or before December 30th, 2016 will be subject to the current code. Only those plans that are submitted for Plan Check on or after January 1, 2017 does this new code apply to. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments from the board members? Okay. Jan, just for clarification, you mentioned something about the plans submitted after January 1st. Obviously, will have to comply with the new code. Existing projects that are filed under the current code, if for some reason their plan check is expired, or let's say the permit's expired, or either one, could you clarify what will happen to those if they go to the next year?
Correct. As they are, if the permit is actually issued and they've begun construction, and then allow the permit to expire by abandoning the construction, what we do in those cases, the construction that was inspected and approved, the property owner has a vested right to keep that construction. So the construction that was not inspected and approved may be subject to the new code. Essentially, once the permit expires, they're required to apply for a new permit. That application for a new permit is under the code then in effect. However, the entire project may not fall under that current code because of their vested rights. So we look at each project on a case-by-case basis to see how far they got in their construction, what they actually have vested rights for, what needs to change to comply with the current code for us to be able to issue the permit to allow them to complete the construction. So that's our process there. If a permit was never issued, they have no vested rights. Once plan check expires, that plan check is done. They renew. They basically are submitting a new application for a new plan check. That plan check is fully under the current code, the code then in effect when they make the new application. So if they're in plan check now and they let the plan check expire and they come in to start that plan check over again, and that they come in after January 1, then the code in effect after January 1, 2017 is what they're required to comply with.
Okay, thank you. And of course, the applicant will have to pay a new review fee and start all over. Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Well, if there are no further questions, I would like to entertain a motion to recommend to the City Council to adopt an ordinance amending portions of the Title 24 California Code of Regulations by adopting the local amendments and to establish the 2017 Glendale Building and Safety Code.
I would make the motion.
Do you want to also make the recommendation to...
Or resolution?
No, to submit a recommendation to the Glendale City Council to adopt the resolution?
Right. At the same time, further, I would like to make a recommendation to the City Council to adopt a resolution establishing findings of the facts which justify the local amendments to the Title 24 California Code of Regulations on the basis of specific local geologic, topographic, and or climatic conditions. Thank you.
I will make that amended motion.
All right. Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Board Member Lenoir?
Yes.
Board Member Tatulian?
Yes.
Board Member Lee?
Yes.
Board Member Chuck Majian?
Yes.
And Chairman Kishishian.
Yes. Thank you.
Going on to item number 8, we have comments from commissioners. Is there anything you wish to add at this time?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 9.
Agenda.
I'm sorry?
Thank you.
You're good? Okay.
Do you have a report or something, or not this time?
No
Okay.
reports at this time.
Well, have a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Roll call for the day. Board Member Lenoir?
I'm here.
Board Member Tatulian?
Yes.
Board Member Lee,
Yes.
Board Member Chakmajian,
Yes.
and Chairman Kishishian.
Yes.
Thank you.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.